Welcome to the Manifestation Babe podcast. My name is Catherine Zinkina, and I'm a manifestation expert, master mindset coach, and multiple seven-figure entrepreneur. I'm obsessed with helping you achieve everything that you once thought was impossible. If you're looking to massively up-level your life, your finances, your relationships, your productivity and success, then you have come to the right place. My goal in this podcast is to help you see the infinite potential within yourself to be, do, and have anything that your heart desires. Think of this podcast as your weekly dose of mindset development to help you maximize who you are and where you're going. Leave it to me to provide you with the tools, the resources, the strategies, and teachings that you need to manifest a reality wilder than your wildest dreams. I know we're about to have so much fun together, so thank you so much for pushing play today. And now let's begin. Well, hello, gorgeous souls, and welcome back to the Manifestation Babe podcast, or shall I call it the Manifestation Baby podcast. So no secret anymore. I know as soon as you see the title, you're pretty much filled in with my big secret that I've been keeping since about November. More specifically, like mid-November. November 19th was the day that my life changed. So I am pregnant. Oh my goodness. It feels so crazy to say this. I've said it in a couple of YouTube videos that should be out by the time this podcast comes out. I think the podcast is going to be the most delayed announcement. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, if you don't follow me on YouTube, which I have a channel, more of like a personal channel, it's called Catherine Zinkina. Very simple. Nothing really to do with Manifestation Babe, but more so my personal life. The podcast is more of like a delay, but by the time that I post this episode, most of you will have known that I am pregnant. And at the time of this recording, I'm 13 weeks and 3 days. And yes, I know I used to make fun of people as well internally when they're like, oh, I'm 14 weeks and 6 days, or I'm 33 weeks and 4 days, or my baby is, 26 months old or whatever. And now I get it. Okay. Like those 3 days make a big difference. Like 13 weeks versus 13 weeks and 3 days. Big difference. By the time that this episode airs, I'm probably going to be closer to 15 weeks. So we are in the second trimester. Thank God. I'll talk a little bit more. Like, I really just want to update you guys. I also want to share a little bit about my experience, what I've learned so far, and kind of like what's to come. What does this mean when it comes to like my life, besides the fact that I'm literally going to be a mom? So a lot of things are going to be different for me personally, but also how I see myself. And I'm going to figure this out as we go along. Like, how am I going to integrate this into my business? Because I've been feeling really called to help moms. Like, ever since I got baby fever, I've just been really called to be like mom's number one cheerleader and like help moms break generational trauma before it gets passed down to their kids, regardless of how old their kids are, right? Whether they're pregnant, not pregnant, planning on becoming pregnant, have toddlers, have 7-year-olds, have 30-year-olds. It really doesn't matter, because I've learned so much about healing in the last couple of years, and how when my mom heals now, even at 40, how old is she? 48 years old, like I am still receiving that healing. And as I heal things, my mom's healing, our lineage is healing, this baby is healing, like so much is happening. And I've just been feeling really called to also learn how kids, manifest, and teach little kiddos how to manifest. And I have absolutely zero experience around children. Like, this is going to sound so crazy, you guys, but I'm an only child. My mom's an only child. My stepdad's an only child. My dad has a sibling, but I didn't meet her until I was like 19 years old. So I never met my cousin until I was already like 19, and he's 19 too. I think we're born like a month apart, which is crazy to think about. I don't have cousins. I have a tiny family. And I literally have no idea how to even hold a baby. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So this is all so new to me. And I'm probably going to rely a lot on motherly instincts, because I have zero experience. But anyway, I'm really excited to like help people in a new way. And of course, that's going to come to light and make more sense. And I'm truly surrendering to this journey. So we'll see. But I just thought it'd be like fun to update you guys. Like, what have I been up to since November behind the scenes? Like, I'll tell you one thing. There's like 100 books I've been reading and courses I've been taking that I haven't been able to share with you. Like, you guys think I'm reading like the same book over and over and over again. And yes, there is this particular book I'm reading right now called The Mountain Is You, which I love. It's highly recommended from me, via me. And I can only read 10 pages a day because I'm literally devouring pregnancy and childbirth books. So I got all the stuff that I want to talk about. I want to, like, it's been driving me literally insane. And I do have a reflection. Actually, I'm going to add it to my bullet point over here because this is important as well. Talking about it earlier. Okay, sorry. I can't like think and talk at the same time. Anyway, so where do I want to begin? Let's just say I've had baby fever for like 15 months now. And finally, Mr. O'Keefe has aligned with me and felt as ready as I did. And here we are, doing our best to hide, our pregnancy from the socials since November. And a lot of you guys, of course, were on to me. I know you guys are intuitive. I know that I've been very vocal about wanting a baby. So I'm not like, haha, I hope I fooled you. Maybe you're surprised. Maybe you're not surprised. Maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know. Curious to find out. I know you guys have been actually DMing me dreams that you've been having. And you're like, Catherine, I had a dream that you're pregnant. I think it's coming soon. And I like so badly want to say, yeah, I'm actually like 10 weeks as you're DMing me, but I can't say anything. And can't is such a relative term, right? Because of course you can. And let's just start there. Okay. First of all, how has it been for me? It's been a shamanic death of a freaking lifetime, and pregnancy hormones are literally no joke. And it's been so much harder for me than I thought it would be, but not in the way that I thought it would be. Like, I thought it would be hard from like nausea, or like it would be hard because I'm tired. But actually, that was probably, of all the things, the easiest part for me. It was actually the shamanic death, like the ego death that I've had since I found out I was pregnant, like the emotions that I've had, just the loneliness I've had, the confusion I've had. I mean, I've never felt like this before. And I think that my ego is just in pure freak out mode because it knows that this version of Catherine Zinkina is done. Like, since I've gotten pregnant, there's a version of Catherine Zinkina that's died. And then when I become a mom and like, as we progress towards that part, and then of course, when I give birth, that's a whole nother version of me. And then when I have the child, that's even more so another version of me. And my ego's just been flipping out. And I don't see anybody talking about this. So I would love to hear from you. If you're pregnant or you have been pregnant in the past, like, tell me, what kind of ego freakouts have you had? Because for the longest time, until I finally shared, which shout out to Natalie from @BossBabe, which I should get her actual handle because she's freaking awesome. And she's actually pregnant currently, and it's public. So I'm not like revealing her secret. Don't worry. And I just went ahead and I told her when I was like 10 weeks, I'm like, hey, do you have any like pants recommendations? I think she was like talking about pants and pants not fitting her. And I was like, literally, I'm 10 weeks tomorrow and my pants don't fit me. Can you give me some recommendations? She's like, oh my God, congratulations. And then I've been able to talk to her. Like, I had at least someone to talk to, and I'm so grateful for her because I felt so alone. Like, people don't talk about this shit. They talk about like the body changing, or they talk about the emotions and the cravings, and you act a little silly. No, it's like scary. It's like really uncertain. And so I think that the very first thing that I kind of learned so far that I think I'm going to do differently in my next pregnancy, which, of course there are risks to this, and there's a risk to everything, and everything is uncertain. So you have to kind of balance that out as well. But I think I'm going to announce like a little bit earlier next time because, there's this like rule about like, don't tell people too early. It's bad luck, or something might happen. Or what if you have a miscarriage or something like that? And of course, that is such a valid fear. And of course, like, I had my own fears. I had dreams. I had literal dreams of having miscarriages. I think I had like 2 or 3 so far. And I know those are fear dreams, just because they're literally something that I have had a fear of. And I wasn't afraid of it really manifesting because, well, here, let me give you some context. I had dreams, prophetic dreams, very often in my pregnancy so far, where I dream of something and it happens, right? And so when I saw a miscarriage in my dream, I literally was like, oh my God, is this a prophetic dream? And because I felt so much emotion around it, I think this is like for anyone who's had this happen to them, like if you have an emotion around it, if you feel fear, then it's definitely your own fear. Like it's projected rather than like a prophetic like vision that you have of something that's for sure going to happen. But I think I'm just going to announce it a little bit earlier because I just felt so alone. Like I felt I am my first pregnant friend. So I do actually have like 2 or 3 mom friends, and I do have people on my team who are moms, but people have been pregnant like super recently or are pregnant, or people extremely close to me have never been pregnant. So I'm kind of like the guinea pig. And I'm just experiencing everything for the first time. And everything that I'm consuming is coming from Instagram. It's coming from YouTube. It's coming from books. And there's just like some things that I haven't really heard about and that I had to experience myself and learn. And so maybe just listening into this podcast episode, maybe you'll feel less alone. Maybe I'll normalize it for you because I needed it normalized for myself. So that's like the first thing, like not to follow any rules around when it's safe to announce a pregnancy or when you can announce a pregnancy, or like people being like, isn't it too early? Or, oh my God, why'd you wait so long or whatever. I just think that there's no rule. I think you have to go with whatever's comfortable. And I think that someone like me who's so open with her life, it literally hurt my throat chakra to like not share. Like I was going crazy. I mean, I'm still going crazy because you guys don't know at the time of this recording, but I'm actually announcing in just 3 days. So it's Thursday right now. I'm announcing on Monday, the 31st. So thank God we're so close. And like even sharing it on the podcast episode is already helping me because my throat chakra really needed it. So things I've experienced and learned so far. Well, first and foremost, this decision to have kids, right? It's like a decision that never has a perfect time. Brendan and I went back and forth in the last 15 months since I was like, you know what, Brendan, I think I'm ready to become a mom. And he was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'm ready. And I'm like, it's okay, like chill. And I posted like a couple reels and stuff last year that some people thought was like, I was like being serious. I was joking the whole time, of course. I would never out my husband as someone who's like not on board with me or whatever. And like some people were like, oh my God, why would you get married if one of you wants to have kids and the other doesn't? No, that's not it. But anyway, that's beside the point. We just had like conversations around, okay, when's a good time, with the business. Being an entrepreneur and pregnant at the same time is a whole nother ballgame because your business is like a baby too. So you're like planning your launches around a pregnancy and you don't know when you're going to become pregnant, right? Everyone has a different journey around this. Some people struggle, some people take longer, some people take faster, right? There's no certainty whatsoever. And you're like trying to plan your next year around like, okay, so if I get pregnant this month, when are we going to launch the program? If I get pregnant this month, when are we going to, have birth? When am I going to take maternity leave? Like, when are we going to do all this? And I just realized like there is no perfect time. So as soon as we came back from Africa, it just felt right for us to conceive. And we ended up conceiving in November. And yes, I know the exact day because I have it's not an ovulation kit. It's actually like a device. It's pretty cool. I recommend it just because it works so well for me. And again, we're all different. We all have different bodies. We're all going to have a different journey and a different path. But for me, tracking my ovulation with like exact certainty was so helpful. I have the Mira, Mira, Mira fertility tracker. It's amazing. You pee on the stick every single morning or as many times as you want, like closer to your fertile window or estimated fertile window. And then it tests your like estrogen, your progesterone, as well as your LH, luteinizing hormone, and tells you exactly when you're going to spike. It's pretty cool. And it gives you like the numerical numbers as well. So numerical data. So it's not just like a line that you have to like read, like, is this faint? Is this strong? What is this line? There's no guessing work whatsoever. It's like the number is high right now. So you're ovulating, which is cool. I had a pretty tough first trimester and I'll tell you why. It has less to do with like the typical things that people talk about when it comes to, first trimester. So for example, I did have nausea and I did have horrible fatigue. The nausea came in waves. And once I discovered those nausea bands, like the seasickness bands that you can buy on Amazon for like $15, my God, it took all the nausea away as long as I was wearing it. And of course, when I would shower, or sometimes I just want to take it off because like I feel like my wrist needs to breathe. And all of a sudden, instant nausea, like instant. I'm like, wow, these things work. And of course, I want to share so much more stuff, but I'm going to save that for my YouTube video, which I'll talk a little bit more about how you guys can also follow along on a more personal level, not just like manifestation, business, spirituality, all that stuff, personal development, like through the podcast. But I'm going to post some more personal stuff, of course, on my Instagram at Manifestation Babe, and then my YouTube channel, Catherine Zinkina, where I'm going to make more like detailed vlogs and videos and like all the stuff. Like I'm going to literally film my freaking birth. Yeah, I'm going to be one of those people. I've always been one of those people. I love to share my life with you. So absolutely, you're going to watch me give birth. You're going to be there with me. Okay. Whether you like it or not, I guess you have a choice in whether you watch it or not. But I'm so excited to share all the things. So I'm not going to go into details about like products and things like that. I'm going to share that with my newsletter. I'm going to share that in various places. So as long as you're following me, you're going to find it. Okay. And then feel free to ask at any point. So fatigue was horrible, but it was an absolute fucking nightmare when it came to emotions. I have never in my life cried so much. Like I cried myself into panic attacks. Okay. And, you know, those are like the induced panic attacks where you have a shortness of breath from crying so much that you're like, right? It's not like I had anxiety about anything, even though I felt like I had anxiety about everything, but it was just like crying induced panic attacks. I've never cried for 8 hours straight a day, every single day. It was nutso. I cried about everything. And it wasn't always like the cute cry, like I saw something cute or sad or whatever on TV. It was like, I think I'm dying kind of crying. It was so bizarre. Another huge thing that came up for me, which again, this is just my filter. So maybe I'm not looking for this information, or maybe people are not talking about it enough. I don't know, but I just want to put this out there. I realized that I still have this extreme fear of weight gain. And not like weight gain in the like, it's okay, I put on a pound because I was traveling, or 2 pounds or whatever. Just to give you guys some context. So when I was a teenager, when I was 14, I developed bulimia. And I developed bulimia because I had horrible body dysmorphia. And the body dysmorphia actually came from my dance classes. When I was 8 years old, I had a dance teacher that kept telling me to suck in my stomach, that I put on too much weight, I have to lose weight. Like I was constantly being told that I need to lose weight as a child. Okay. So I just have a lot of trauma around that. And as a result, like I figured out how to take care of it, and it manifested as bulimia. And when I got pregnant, especially with the throwing up, and of course, not on purpose, like I'm throwing up because of hormones, I'm throwing up because of the baby, but also like the weight gain and this, like, I have like a tiny bump, but it's not really a bump. I'm kind of in that awkward phase where it's like, I put on some weight, but like you can't really tell it's baby weight. You know what I mean? It just looks like I just freaking ate everything in sight for the last 15 weeks. And it brought up so much to the surface for me, where I literally felt myself having the same thoughts that I had when I was 14 years old, which was so scary for me. And I realized in that moment, I never addressed this, let alone healed this on the level that I thought that I did. So it's now something I'm currently working on and currently facing. But I haven't come across many pregnant women who have dealt with body dysmorphia, and like the absolute surrender that you have to give to your body because you are growing a child. There's so much that's happening, especially if it's your first pregnancy. I understand if it's like your second or third, maybe you know what to expect. Like you've seen yourself through these stages. You've seen yourself go through the awkwardness. You've seen yourself with the cute bump, right? And then you've gone through the postpartum stage, and you kind of know what to expect. As a first time pregnant woman, I have no idea what to expect. zero. And so the absolute surrender of being like, I'm going to let my body go. I never even realized how much I was holding on to and how much fear I still had. And I don't have any tips for you yet or anything like that. I think this is going to be a huge journey of self-love for me. I think this is going to be maybe some therapy, some trauma work, like all that good stuff, of course. I'm going to bring this issue and concept to everything I do now and I'm actually really glad that this came up during pregnancy, because it's like now or never. And I do not want to pass down this fear of my body and this like disdain and dislike for my body to my child. And I don't know if I'm having a boy or girl yet at the time of this recording, of course, which I'll talk about in a little bit when I'll find out. But let's say it's like a daughter. God forbid my daughter ever goes through what I did, because it was literally hell, you guys. And I've talked a little bit about this and how starting Manifestation Babe and getting out of the fitness world, because I was always working out and dieting out of fear of gaining weight. And when I started Manifestation Babe, I allowed my body to really heal and my mindset to really heal, because I didn't feel like my success relied on my body, right? I didn't have to like go online and show off my abs anymore, or like try so hard to get abs. I'm like, fuck it. Who cares what I look like? I'm going to share great value with the world, and people are going to have transformation, and you don't have to look a certain way to manifest your best life anyway. Right. So it worked out really well for me, but I realized that there's still so much that I needed to uncover. So if there's like a freaking support group or something, or if you've dealt with this, I would absolutely love to either normalize this for you and just say you're not alone, or, just hear from you if you've dealt with this before, if this is like common or not common. Again, I don't hear many people talking about this, but also there might not be as many people who've gone through the extremes of what I've gone through in terms of like, self-image. I know a lot of people do struggle with self-image, but there's like different varying extremes. So I don't know. That just came up for me. So I'm really excited to heal this on a deeper level. Let's just say another thing that I've experienced so far is the ultimate surrender of divine timing. So lately, I guess since we're doing like life updates, so Brennan and I decided to move from LA. We're not going to say where yet, just because in the midst of manifestation, I like to keep things to myself, but I'll definitely update you once it's like more of a for sure. What I know for sure is we're not going to live in LA. So that I can share, because it's for sure, for sure. I just can't do the energy here anymore. I don't want to raise a baby. I don't want to be pregnant here. I just can't do it anymore. So, and we can talk about that later, and you guys can ask, no problem. But like we decided to move to LA. So now we have to find a house. We're in the midst of hiring a personal assistant, and we don't know, are we going to hire the personal assistant in LA? Are we going to hire them in the new location? Like, what are we going to do? Are they going to relocate? Oh my God, so many unknown questions. We want to finish traveling the world. So we do have travel. I will be traveling while pregnant. So if you want any tips around that, definitely keep following me, because I'll give you all the tips. And like the clock is ticking, right? My due date is August 1st. So obviously at some point I have to figure all this out. So, right now I have nothing figured out. There's absolutely nothing that's for certain. Absolutely nothing. And so this just, of course, brings me back to what I already know, but it's like a deeper level. It's a surrender of even greater things, because it's no longer just me and Brennan. All of our decisions also concern this child. So it's been a little nutso. Another thing I discovered, and this is more so like with this pregnancy, but also before, I'm 100% a midwife from another life. Like in a parallel reality right now, I'm a fucking midwife. That's what I'm doing for a living. I'm not even joking. And it makes sense to me now, because I was attracted to the medical field, but not in the manifestation at which it existed when I knew about the medical field. And since discovering like midwifery, for example, I do have a midwife, which I freaking love. Through this process of like baby fever, I love watching births. I don't even give a fuck how gruesome, not gruesome, it's not the right word, but how like revealing they are, how much they show. Like I could literally watch vagina stretch and babies come out of them, like straight up. and it doesn't bother me. I don't find it disgusting. I'm just obsessed with it. I'm like, whoa, that's so amazing. That's a freaking miracle. How does something so big come through such a small hole? And I can't get enough, you guys. Like, I'm running out of births to watch on YouTube. So this is like my contribution to the YouTube community of recording my own birth because I want to give it back. I'm like, I got so much from all these other beautiful humans that I want to give back. I want to go like shadow my midwife. Maybe I'm going to do that as a hobby. Who knows? Maybe I'm going to do that as like a second freaking thing. I don't know, but I'm obsessed. I am obsessed with pregnancy. I want to hug every pregnant woman out there. I want to love on every little baby that's in the womb. I want to celebrate them when they come. I can't get enough. And like my mom is like, what the hell? I did not know you love this stuff so much. I'm like, I didn't either, but I'm obsessed. It's like manifestation and births. That I'm obsessed with both. Like, it's amazing. So, and then also, just a couple more updates. Like, speaking of midwifery, I do plan, and of course, ha 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 plans, right? God laughs at our plans. I get that. But if I have a low risk pregnancy throughout, which I am so far, thank God I don't have any major things going on. I know it's still early, but thank God, praying, manifesting for low risk. I do plan on an unmedicated home birth because I'm a little cuckoo and crazy and I enjoy this kind of thing. So I can't wait to share all that with you. I'm definitely going to be doing hypnobirthing. So I'm going to learn how to hypnotize myself to not feel pain. That's going to be like my epidural. I want to use my mind to communicate with my body and somehow enjoy birth. Am I going to make it happen? I don't know. I'm surrendering to whatever is going to happen. I am open, of course, to anything. I could get transferred to the hospital. I could end up with a C-section. I'm open and non-judgmental of all options available to us. But like for me personally, it's just something I really want to experience. Don't even ask me why. I'm sure there's other women out there. I know you're out there. I know you're listening right now and you're smiling because I know there's something that appeals about it to you too. I'm not alone. So like I said, I'm filming my entire pregnancy journey on YouTube. So please subscribe. The channel is my name, Catherine Zinkina. I'm also going to link it in the show notes because I have so many random YouTube channels. Like, don't make fun of me. There's a lot of cringy content out there from like back in the day. I think I like vlogged my boob job. That's how old I've been posting. Like, that's how long I've had like an interest in YouTube, and I've been consuming YouTube for a really long time. Now I'm taking it a little more seriously as I have time for it. I don't have that much time for it, but I'm doing my best to post as much content as possible. So definitely subscribe there. I'm going to do like an in-depth first trimester Q&A. So any questions you guys have or anything like that, I will be answering on there. I'm sharing my reaction video. In fact, my reaction video should already be up by the time this podcast is up. Maybe Brennan's reaction video's up. I'm filming like, or I did film my family and friends. They all found out. I filmed all of that. We did like the midwives, midwives. Oh my God. Old wives' tales, gender predictions to see, are we going to have a boy or girl kind of video? There's like a bunch of stuff. Okay. So definitely follow along there, as well as my Instagram. My Instagram is probably going to be like half manifestation, half pregnancy. Let's just be real. I'm just very excited. I'm very happy. I'm very just looking forward to it. And I know that this is going to be part of my purpose. Like I said, this is why I teach this, you guys. This is why I teach that your life purpose has less to do with what you're doing and more to do with who you're being. Because I know that I am who I am, and what I do is still going to be part of my life purpose. So this is part of my life purpose, and I'm just excited to like integrate it into what I already do. I am having a sex reveal party on Sunday with my friends, family, and team members. So we're going to do the whole surprise shebang to see what we're having, which by the time this podcast is out, we already know. I think we're going to wait a little bit on revealing it just because my video editor, I want her to edit like the YouTube video before I post it. So, yeah, it's going to be like a little bit of time, but I'm super curious. If you want to comment on like my latest pregnancy post, if you think we're having a boy or girl, I'm just super curious to hear because everyone is such a mixed bag. Like even I'm a mixed bag. every week it changes on me, which is so weird because I'm very intuitive. Like I'm extremely intuitive, and I have connected with my children before, through the book, like Spirit Babies, like I learned how to do it. And now it's like so weird. I don't even know. I think I'm too close and too emotionally attached now to where my intuition just doesn't work properly, if that makes sense. And by the way, just to put this out there, we literally do not care who our child is. We literally do not care if they even resonate with their gender when they're older. So if my little girl, my little boy grows up and they say, Mom, I actually resonate with being a boy or a girl, like the opposite, I'm going to freaking love and accept them no matter what. So I just know that some of you are going to ask comments like, Catherine, it doesn't matter. Or like, for example, like, because gender is such a hot topic right now, right? And I totally understand it. And I know there's like also non-binary, and I have non-binary friends. So I just want to be clear that this is not because I'm putting some sort of emphasis on this. It's just because we want to have fun and we want to be surprised and we just want to enjoy like finding out. Like that's it. Like I love surprises. And this is like, obviously the surprise of finding out I'm pregnant is like a surprise, but kind of not, because you kind of know it's going to come, especially if it's planned. This is definitely a planned baby, right? So you're surprised to find out, but it's coming. And with the sex or gender, it's like a complete surprise because it's like 50-50. You don't know, right? It's really fun. Anyway, I just want to clear that up and just put that out there that I'm going to love. I know who I am as a person, and that's why I feel comfortable doing this. And I know who Brennan is as a person, and we literally do not care what it is. We just want a healthy, happy baby, and we want them to grow up into adults who love themselves and accept themselves, and hopefully live in a world that also accepts them too. And of course, teach them how to cope if the world doesn't accept them, because we all know real life that not everyone is on board with inclusivity and love and acceptance, unfortunately. But that's a whole nother soapbox that we can get onto that we're just going to save for another time. So yeah, leave me questions, leave me comments, anything you want to know on my latest pregnancy related post so that I can bring that content to you guys via Instagram, YouTube, and then also on the podcast. I'm sure I'm going to learn a literal fuck ton over the next 6 remaining months. So let alone as I transition into motherhood, of course. So I'm so freaking excited to take you along this journey. And thank you so much for being a part of this journey. Wow, it feels so good to just say it on the podcast and just know that you're going to listen to it, which I love you so much. If you've made it to the very end, I know you're a true OG fan because you're very interested in a major life update. It's not like a manifestation tip 101, right? It's not very generic. It's very specific to me. So I know that you're here and you're supportive. And I just want to let you know that I love you too. And I support you too. And I'm excited for all the amazing stuff that you're manifesting into your life as we speak as well. So that's it. I think I'm going to leave it there on the shorter, more concise side, which I know some of you are looking at the clock and being like, Catherine, 30 minutes is not concise, but you know what? It's concise for me. So that's all I got for now. And I will catch you all in the next episode. Mwah. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you absolutely loved what you heard today, be sure to share it with me by leaving a review on iTunes so that I can keep the good stuff coming your way. If you aren't already following me on social media, come soak up the extra inspiration on Instagram by following @ManifestationBabe or visiting my website at manifestationbabe.com. I love and adore you so much and can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. In the meantime, go out there and manifest some magic.